Hey everyone, it's Dr. John Liu again. I'm here with Jeff Deckman for part two. I know that a lot of you have wanted to learn more about his experiences, not only in business, but also in the holistic healing part and reinventing himself. So I'm here with him today, and today this conversation is really going to be focused on different ways of looking at medicine, different ways of looking at healing. And this is one of the most popular trends that we're seeing, especially in really successful individuals where they're thinking innovatively out of the box, and they're realizing that maybe the current medical system is not working for them, so they're looking for alternatives. So Jeff, welcome back.
Thanks.
We're wearing the same clothes as last time.
Well, you know, what's the biggest curse anybody ever put in my yearbook was don't ever change, right? so I haven't.
Oh, perfect. So I know that last time we spoke about running a successful business, finding your tribe, building that culture, and being a part of an organism. But also in your life, you've had some challenges, not only in business and also in spirituality and in your personal life, but also challenges in your health. And that really motivated you to think about mortality and health a little bit differently. So walk me through your journey in that.
So in, let's see, November of 2015, I was at Thanksgiving, and my daughter, my daughter's now 33, I have a son who's 31 and one who's 28. And she looked at me, and she looked at my neck, and she said, "Dad, what's that lump?" And I knew it had been there, right? In fact, several years before that, I had a lump in my neck, and I went and I had it checked, and it was all good. He gave me some antibiotics, and it went away. Not completely, but down to like about a pea size. And so a couple years later, when it came back, I just thought, oh, well, it's no big deal. It'll just go away again. Well, it didn't. It got a little bit bigger, and I was kind of watching it. So anyway, and she's a massage therapist, and she's done energy healing, so she's kind of plugged into that, and she got it on the inner that's cancer. And I kind of thought that it was too, because it wasn't going away. So anyway, that began a journey for me where I knew that I had to really explore, should I go holistic or should I go traditional? So for the next 3 months, I just immersed myself into the holistic cancer treatment world, studying nutrition, online courses, and what I found was, initially I thought the holistic medical community was, Earth Mothers, woo-woo, that kind of stuff. What I learned was it's filled with scientists and brilliant people and natural paths and all this. So as I was looking at that, I was seriously considering not getting the traditional radiation and chemo. So what I had was stage 4 cancer, started in my tongue and went into my lymph node. Okay, so I was really close, and in the meantime, I was finding I was speaking with these people who had gone through holistic treatments with cancer, so a lot of spiritual-based people, etc. And I called them my earth angels, because they would show up and they would talk to me about the spiritual journey, and they would talk about all that. And I was pretty well spiritualized beforehand, but this took it to a whole new level. One of those people referred me to a woman named Dr. Jody Noe down in Pawcatuck, Connecticut. And she is an integrative oncologist. She's considered one of the top 80 women healers in the world. She's half Cherokee. She's a Cherokee medicine woman, which is almost unheard of. They just don't accept, right? So anyway, I went down and I visited with her, and she is brilliant medical doctor with the holistic and the plants and the whole spiritual side of it. And anyway, we started on this journey because what I wanted to do was, while I was exploring should I go holistic or traditional, I was changing my diet. I was going organic. I knew if I go traditional, I was going to put my body through a real beating. So I wanted to give it time to be able to kind of get detoxed, and because I wasn't eating right before, and I was stressed out and all that type of thing. So, and I had been an athlete for quite a few years and many decades, and so I knew about how to get back into shape. So I just said, look, this is going to be a heck of a marathon, and I need to get myself ready for it. So as I was doing the research, I'm also cleaning myself out, and the tumor's getting bigger. Big, like golf ball plus.
Wow.
So big at one point the skin split. Right? It was just crazy. So I'm going through this thing and I'm really trying to figure out, I'm reading both sides. And one of the things I don't like about the holistic community is many of them demonize tradition.
Mm.
And tradition often demonizes the other side. And as you know, I just want to try to figure this out, which I do. So
this time you were trying to figure this out. This tumor's getting bigger to
Mm-hmm.
a point where your skin split.
Mhm.
Did anybody say, "Hey Jeff, you gotta do something about that"?
Well, you know, I was wearing these zip-up like turtlenecks, right? And I was kind of hiding, and I was still working with my clients. And I remember I was going to tell one of my clients, look, I got to let you know I have cancer. And at that meeting, he looked at me. He said, "Hey, I don't want to be rude." He said, "But man, what is going on with your neck?" And I said, "Well, you know, I have cancer," and we talked about it. So yeah, it was visible. Like I said, I was trying to cover it up with these things, and you could do it pretty decently. But no, it became really obvious. And in fact, when so I'll just go back to, I'm sitting in front of Dr. Jody, and I said, "Doctor, if it were you, would you go holistic or would you go traditional?" And she said, "If you were my brother, I would ask you why you weren't at Dana-Farber already."
Mm.
And she said, "So here's what you should do. Go to Dana. They're absolutely awesome, and they're unbelievable." And she said, "But you and I are going to work together. So your experience of going through this is going to be very different than everybody else's." So that's what I did. I did an integrated, holistic plus traditional, and it worked out really well. You know, when you have when you have stage 4, well, when you have neck cancer, it's called, they radiate you. You know, so you have 7 weeks, 5 days a week, you're going up and you get radiated. Now, that radiation not only burns on the inside, but it burns on the outside, and it continues to burn and do its thing long after the 15 minutes that you're on the table. So it's a sunburn on top of a sunburn on top of a sunburn that keeps. So what happens is you get these mouth sores, and the mouth sores turn into then you can't eat. So Dana had a solution of not soda. Oh, I can't think of it. It was water and a mix, like baking soda. I think it was water and baking soda. Rinse, 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 spit. Tastes like garbage because it's really salty. And that's what you were supposed to do. So what Dr. Jody told me, she said, "Don't do that mix. What I want you to do is I want you to drink a mixture of water and glutamine and drink it. Because glutamine what causes, when those sores get in, you get what's called mucositis. And your mucus system goes from your sinus to your anus. That's the best way to put it, right? And what happens is that gets all infected. So your body generates all this mucus trying to clear this stuff up. So then you end up spitting this stuff out. Your mouth is sore. You lose weight. Well, this glutamine prevented any of those mouth sores. I went through 7 weeks of radiation and chemo, and I never got a single mouth sore.
Wow.
So I was able to eat, even though it was really painful and it took me forever. And I had the worst sore throat you can imagine for months and months. I never had to swallow off. I would eat and it would hurt so bad my head would sweat, right? But I was still, because I didn't have mouth sores, that pain was localized to my throat. And I only lost like 30 pounds. And at the end, people were looking at me saying, "What week are you?" Because, you know, you go into radiation, you have your radiation buddies there. You know, we're all going through radiation for the same thing. And what week are you? And you have this, you know, and you see them. And I remember there was one woman who, I was going in, my son happened to be with me, and she was like week 2. She was already starting to hurt. And I was week 5 or 6. And she asked my son, "What week is he?" And she's like 5. And she's like, "Oh, he looks great." So when I came out, she asked me, and I talked to her, and I could see the fear, because cancer scares the daylights out of you if you don't have a spiritual path that you can really. That was my experience. My spiritual path really is what got me through that, and helped connect me and helped heal me and got me through what I call the boo birds, those scary thoughts that would come in and boo, and if I'd focus on them, what I focus on I feed, they would grow. And I'd get stressed out, and So what I would do is when those things would come in, I would just seek the divine. I would just say, help, help me. Just show me the love. Show me, let me see that life is everywhere around me. It's in every blade of grass. It's like everywhere around. That energy's there. And let me have that instead of the energy of fear. And that really helped me to get through that.
So you did the trifecta where you worked on yourself, you had Western medicine, and then you also took a holistic path to really
Right.
try to augment the side effects and to help your body heal faster.
Right. And every night I would have a conversation with myself. I built companies, so I have team meetings. So the team meeting was three entities, right? Me as soul, right? Like I have a body, right?
Mm.
So me, the spirit of the essence of Jeff, my body and my mind. Okay, so this is kind of how it will go. All right, guys, how do we do today, right? Spiritually, I was always doing pretty good. I'd have my moments, but I was pretty good. I'm solid. I'm locked in. I win. That was my attitude. I win. I'm going to do everything. It's going to hurt, but I win. So I kept myself spiritually sound. My body was just an amazing warrior. It showed up every day. It was fighting for my life, and it was all I had to do was the best I could, and it would look to really heal. The mind was the problem child.
Mm.
It didn't want to eat its vegetables. It didn't want to do the little exercise, and it kind of gave me the hard time. But every night I would pull those three things together because it was body, mind, spirit.
Mm.
So we're working together. And we'd forgive the mind for not doing the thing and accept it for what it is, and just forgive everything, and we'll do as good as we can tomorrow, but we're going to go through this together. And one of the most important things I was just remembered was there's a lot of talk about fighting cancer, and beating cancer, and a lot of war language around that. And people say they hate cancer and that type of stuff. And very early on, a woman I talked to, she said, Jeff, she said, one of the biggest challenges you're going to have, but you really need to do it, is you have to learn to love cancer. And I said, ooh, you're going to have to help me with that. I have to love cancer? She said, oh yeah. She said, anything other than love in your system right now is just another form of cancer. And you already have enough of that. So how can you love cancer? So what I did with that, because I certainly didn't have an answer in the moment, was I went back and I said, okay, well, this is one of the challenges. This is one of the spiritual lessons I'm going to get. And what I did was I ended up seeing cancer as my teacher. And it was a teacher that was gifted to me. It was a brutal teacher, but it was gifted to me by God as I understand it. And I could do whatever I wanted with that gift. I could push it away, I could ignore it, or I could learn from it. And I could take all the things that it was putting me through and have it teach me gratitude. Like I used to think about how great it'll feel just to be normal. How great it'll feel not to have to go to Dana every day. How great. So it really helped me to balance out many things and to respect that. I'd walk around. Nobody knew I had stage 4 cancer. And that taught me that I walk by a lot of people. I don't know what they have. They could have stage 4 this. They could have a bad heart. They could have had a horrific childhood that they're trying to heal their way through. So, this is a tough place. So it taught me an incredible amount of compassion. But at the same time, mixed with a little bit of detachment, because you don't want to get sucked into people's stories. I'm an empath.
Mm.
So I pick up on energies from people, so I have to be very careful with that. I studied some energy healing before the cancer experience, and I'm one click away. I'll be a Reiki master next month. So I learned so much about energy and healing and cancer. I just made it my teacher. And if I had the choice of not going through it and not learning what I've learned, I would take cancer again. I don't want it back. I always say that. But I learned so many valuable lessons that have allowed me to have such a richer life today that I never would have had if I wouldn't have actually lived and gone through those many months of what it was I went through, from the fear to the adaptation to the taking responsibility to the unknowing to the surrender to the being dragged behind the pain truck and coming out of it, and wow. wow. So
So that experience, it's even though cancer is not something that anybody wishes on anybody, but because of it, you've grown spiritually, you've grown as an individual, and then also you've grown from a health perspective as well, in terms of being more conscious, and even up to the point where you're loving your cancer and knowing that it's telling you something versus something that should be fought, or something that's
right.
you're seeing things even that in a very positive sense.
And I'd have a conversation with cancer, because cancer to me is an energy field. And the conversation was, look, I understand why you're here. You're not a welcomed guest, right? And you're here to kill me. Like, I get that. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to take stuff from me, but I'm going to get up and I'm going to run it down, and I'm going to take as much back as I can. And at some point, this is going to be over, and I'm going to unhitch myself from the wagon or the truck you've been dragging me behind. And you're going to go that way, and I'm going that way, and our paths never going to meet. So, thank you for being the lesson, but you are definitely my opponent. I don't hate you, but game on. You know, I'm not going to give you an inch. I'm just not, because that's not how I roll anyway. And if I give you an inch, the momentum goes your way. Then, you know, I did martial arts, and one of the things about martial arts is you could have a guy 350 pounds in front of you, but if you can get him off balance, you can knock him over. So it's all about being, you know, how do I keep stable? And it was emotionally and spiritually sound, like stay in that and expect certain things. But, you know, you can't be a victim. If you embrace victimhood, you are done. You are done. And it's so hard to get back up after you fall. So even if you drop to a knee or whatever, just don't lay down.
So the key takeaways of your experiences battling cancer is: one, mental, spiritual toughness. Two, don't cast out Eastern medicine or Western medicine as
Nope.
the one side being the devil versus the angel, and then being able to integrate everything to your advantage and to not categorize things and put them in buckets that are mutually exclusive.
Right.
And then be able to have those conversations not only with your team but also with your internal team to make sure that you have alignment and that you're the strongest every day, and to learn from all of that.
You know, and you reminded me of something else. One of the most poignant lessons that I got was, I was week 7, and you're just done. You're horrible. And I was laying in bed, and I woke up. I'd wake up several times at night, and I never liked that because the pain showed back up, right? So I wake up about 3 o'clock in the morning, and the pain is just there. And I had this throughout my experience. The only way I can put it is I would get downloads. Like I was told at one point in my path, this is not how it ends for you. Okay? To me, that's spirit talking to me. And I had spirit talk to me very directly a couple times. Sounds strange, but it's true, so I talk about it. And what happened was, there was this dialogue, this thing that happened, and what I kind of heard was, hey, you know how you feel like you're dying right now? Like you're really, but you know you're probably going to be okay. The prognosis is good, you're just going to go through this, so you'll come back. Yep, okay. Well, at some point, and hopefully it's 30 years from now, you're going to be on your bed again, you're going to feel like you're dying, and you will be dying. You're not going to be coming back. You may be 90, okay? And I'm like, yeah. And the question was, what if you looked back at your life when you're on your deathbed and you realized that you never really loved yourself and gave yourself credit for being a good person to the degree that you are? You've always been really hard on yourself and critical. And that question scared the daylights out of me. I thought, oh my gosh, I would look back and go, what a waste. I mean, I wasted my whole life not giving myself credit, not respecting myself, not rooting for myself. I mean, yeah, I have a pretty good self-image, but most of my conversation up to that point is, you're not smart enough, you're not good enough, you got to work hard, I got to watch out for you because you're lazy or you're under... And that's the chatter that I use to fuel me often. And this experience helped me to say that, look at the foolishness of that. And in that moment, I said, I'm dropping that. I mean, yeah, do I make my mistakes? Absolutely. Am I going to make more? Absolutely. But do I have a good heart, and am I doing the best I can to do the best I can? And, I put the fun in dysfunction, right? I've got issues. Who doesn't? But at the end of the day, I'm a good guy, and I try to do the best, and I never acknowledged that up to that point, the way that I should have. And that was such a healing of my heart that alone Uh, almost made the cancer journey worth it. That one thing.
Wow. Loving yourself.
Yeah, respect yourself, root for yourself, encourage yourself. You know, treat yourself like your best friend. Talk to yourself like your best friend. Your best friend makes a mistake. Do you call them names and whip them and all? No, you go and you go, come on, man, let's do it. Like, get real with that. Get real with that. You are a blessed creature of God. You have this amazing experience called life. And it's hard, you know, we all come in as little babies and we're pure and we're happy and we're good. Then we get socialized and things happen and people tell us we're not good and then we get stuck. And the hero's journey, as Joseph Campbell talks about it, is we come in pure, then we go through the stuff, but then we come out of it and we come back. And that's what we're here to do, come out of that and come back. So, yeah, you know, hold yourself accountable, but man, give yourself credit every day for showing up and doing the best you can and coach yourself and work with yourself and heal yourself.
Wow, what a lesson. So I hope that gives a lot of folks that are suffering from cancer or any other chronic condition some hope and some strategies as to how to best deal with that, and also internal self-talk as well. So
Crucial,
Jeff,
absolutely crucial.
thank you so much for coming on and sharing all of that. It's a lot of not only high-level advice, but also techniques on how to do everything as well. And so if anybody wants to get in touch with Jeff, we'll include his contact information in his website below, so that you'll be able to, you know, reach out, drop him a note.
Sure.
And I think that will just grow the community. So Jeff,
Yeah.
thanks so much. I really
Oh,
appreciate
a
you
pleasure.
coming in.
A pleasure. Thanks.